Good morning. Another day, another solar move. So we're gathering the flock at this site and we're taking about a 2-mile walk down the road. It's a back road, but we're taking that walk down to the other side of this site. It's one of the sites where we talk about, man, if they just put a gate from here to here, but they didn't. And then there's also, and the reason that they didn't is because there's actually a creek that seasonally runs through. So they had to be aware of that. So we have to come up and around. So Marcus has got the flock up there. I've got Emerus in with me, and then Maple, the other guardian dog for here, is in the back. And we're just trying to get them on moving down the road. Just another day, another drive. So I've got the big water tank on here. Blaze has got the water that stays on the site with her, and we'll have to come back for the rest of the mineral. Blaze has some of it, and the dog feeder. But that's kind of how it goes. We're going back and forth and getting everything moved and gathered and whatnot. So should be a good day. It's a little overcast, so it's not terribly hot outside. So it's actually kind of the perfect day to try to move this flock down the road. We'll see what happens. Alright, so we've got the flock moved up the road, which was a debacle on its own. I had one that just didn't want to move, and so I had to stay behind it, which was frustrating. And then Emerus jumped out of the truck to be with the flock, so that was a little frustrating. But the good news is we got them moved, and the people around here are used to this, and they're excited, and they enjoy being part of it, so it's actually not a big problem. Now we're just filling the water back there, and then we just got to move some of the mineral and stuff, and the girls will be set for here for the next couple days. Second trip, Marcus is locking the gate. Dog feeder moved and filled. Minerals out. Water is full. So these girls are happy, and they'll get moved again later this week. All right, everybody. So we're out here filling that water tank from that water tank, and I'll tell you our evolution of water tanks. One of the biggest things that everybody will tell you about being a solar grazer is water. Water sources. It's huge. And for us especially, you know, being on so many different farms, we are all constantly thinking about water and what are we going to do and how are we going to get it there. So it's been a lot of, you know, making friends, and I've said this before, making friends with the local fire department, the water authority, a local farmer, if it's close enough to your farm, hauling water from your farm, you know, whatever. Here, on the sites that we have here, we do have an agreement with the local water authority. We do pay for our water. But what was hard is these tanks that right there that's filling, they max at about 250, 275, which is fine. But the trailers, I don't want a big honking trailer for them. I don't need a big honking trailer for them. We've adapted trailers. We've messed around with, do you put the mineral on it? Do you not put the mineral on it? Do you do this? Do you do that? And we've come up with, in the 4 years, lots of different ways to use the trailers. And what I've found personally for us that does not work is putting mineral on the trailer. Because what's gonna happen is they're gonna take a big old mouthful of mineral, and then they're gonna go to the water tank and drop it in the water tank. and then it clogs up our water and everything like that. So what we've actually found is it's better to put the mineral away from the water so that they eat the mineral that they need, and then they get it through their body, and then they can go for a drink. And by then, I'm not going to tell you that they never drop any in the water, but it's definitely a lot less than when we were running the two really close together. So we've started taking the water tanks off of there. We've, you know, adapted it and whatever. This is what works for us. What works for everybody, everybody's different. Do what works for you. I'm just showing you what works for us. And I'll say that about a gazillion times because I don't want anybody to take offense to what I've found works for us, because I'm not putting anybody else's system down. I'm just saying, for us, this is what it is. Anyway, with these, I don't want a whole lot of extra trailer. I don't need it. I just need it to hold my water and be able to make my water mobile. Super important to be able to make your water mobile, because then you can rotationally graze your animals and you're not wasting a bunch of water. That's the other big key to all this is, you know, we talk about how much water it saves. Well, I don't want to be the one that's dumping out 100 gallons of water at a time when I move paddocks. So that's kind of the other reason that this is so important. So we get these trailers that are a little bit smaller, and with that then means their weight capacity isn't as much. We find that if we're driving these further than on site, okay, that we can't fill them above 200 gallons. If we're driving further, it's probably about 175 to be safe for the bearings and braking and everybody involved. It's safer that way. Now, with our big tank that Marcus is working on right there, the one with the red on the bottom, that holds 525 gallons of water. That allows us to fill these tanks almost to max, fill the water container so that both are good to go, about 2 sites every fill. So that's also less back and forth for us. So it's less back and forth, it's less wear and tear on the trailers, it's easier, it's less wear and tear on our trucks. It just makes more sense for us to have another way to carry water. Now, we've looked at the tanker trucks. They're super expensive for us in our area right now. And a lot of them have problems either with their engine or their pumps or whatever. And so when I was looking and saying we need to start thinking a little bit differently about these came up, these pumps. I saw a couple of different ones online, and I was like, oh, I'll be interested in that if I can get one that's close enough to home. And then sure enough, the local truck dealer, like the big dump truck dealer, had one. And so I went on the lot and we were talking to that guy. I watched it work. I watched him spraying. It's for spraying roads. That's what most people use them for, spraying roads and things like that. But I said to him, well, how do you think it'll transfer over to what I'm trying to use it for? And we talked a little bit about what we do. And he said, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work. And he's right. It works. It works for us. So 525 gallons in that, I can get at least 2 sites done full. That means like if they didn't have any water at all, which is rare, but if they didn't have any water at all, I can fully fill 2 sites every time. So